Welcome to Music Scene Investigation, everyone. Glad to have you with us. I almost forgot to turn my light on, but I got it on at the last minute. It's going to be a good show today. I certainly am glad to see everyone in the chat room today. It looks like a full house. And of course, if you're not in the chat room, please join us there. We can always, there's always room. It's a chat room, so we can do that. Now, our guest Skype connection just dropped. We're trying to reconnect to him right now, so hopefully we'll have him back fairly quickly. And while we're waiting on that, I do want to take the opportunity to let you know what Music Scene Investigation is. It's a broadcast where we'll take and put 3 songs randomly selected from all of those that are sent in by artists from around the world in front of our expert panel. And they will take and review the songs after hearing them the first time and only time on today's broadcast. So you never know what you're going to get out of them, but you can always guarantee that it is going to be something interesting. So we're looking forward to that. Our guest panelist just rejoined us, and we're glad about that. Now, I'm going to take and introduce our panelist to you. We're going to start in New York City as we normally do. At least we've been normally doing these past number of weeks. Mr. Tom Chianti. Hey, Tom, how are you, sir?
Good after evening. How are you, Sir Richard?
I'm doing just fine.
That's good. We're doing good. Just went through multiple miles of cables here at the studio and starting to hook up the patch bay and like 50 pieces of outboard gear, going crazy. And then just, another day in the neighborhood. Beautiful weather the past weekend. It's just been auspicious.
And of course, a new microphone is in front of you yet again.
Hey, I change microphones more than most people change underwear.
That's exactly what I've heard. So,
And I clean them more, too.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I would hate to see you using a dirty microphone.
It's almost as big as your head, man.
Well, this is called it's from Cascade Microphones, a ribbon microphone. It's called the Fathead.
Makes sense, I guess.
Go on, give us a verse.
No. You're going to make another song.
Yeah, he's going to be doing thunderbolts and lightning here very soon.
Yeah, no, it's a ribbon mic, great pickup pattern, very warm, and I figured I'd give it a try.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing how it goes throughout the rest of the broadcast, Tom. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Good to be here as always, Rich. Nice to see you.
And from London, England, a good friend of ours, also Mr. Ian Husbands, with a brand new T-shirt on. Let's check that out, Ian.
This is a cool T-shirt. Darth Vader smashing up a guitar. It looks like a Fender, so what better guitar to smash up?
Well, I don't disagree. It kind of reminds me of the video you did with Mr. Paul Miro.
Yes, it has similarities to that, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart.
I don't doubt that a bit. How you been, Ian? Everything going all right for you?
I had a busy weekend, actually. Took our pigeon that we spoke about last week. We took her to the Hounslow Urban Zoo yesterday, so she had a better place to fly and be looked after a bit better. So we all said goodbye to her, and we've done a video of that up on YouTube. And today I was at, I can't remember his name now. What was his name? I told you earlier. Leslie Thomas. Leslie Thomas's house. He's the author of The Virgin Soldiers for a family party. So, it's been a busy weekend.
So you've been traveling a couple of 100 miles on the car then?
Yes, a couple of 100 miles, about a round trip roughly, down in Salisbury near Stonehenge. No, I didn't dance around it naked this time.
This time. Well, that's a little bit more information than I wanted, I think. So it's always...
want to knock them rocks over.
Exactly. And he probably would. Ian is a big guy.
I don't want to go there.
I don't know. I'll take that, really.
No, you're like 7 feet tall.
I'm 6'4".
You shrunk.
No, I've always been 6'4". Not always. That would have been really painful for my mother. But what a long labour that would have been. When I say long, I mean about 6'4's worth of long.
Yeah. Let's get to the witness statement, shall we?
Let's do that, shall we? Right, so last week, again, we're back on track, Tom. Our audience agreed with us, and Song 3, Compromise by Tanella, won Best Songwriting with 57% of the votes, Best Performance with 71% of the votes, and Best Mix and Production with 86% of the votes. So very, very mixed on the ideas, but yeah, everyone agreed.
You're back on track. That's good to hear. It's taken a while, a couple of weeks on, a couple of weeks off, that kind of thing over the last 6 weeks or so. But it's nice to see everybody back on the same page.
Well, it's my influence, really, Rich. Now that I've been showing up every weekend instead of,
Now that you've cut your hair, trimmed your beard, and started showing up regularly.
Yes, and lost weight, as you can see. So.
Absolutely. You look like a young, fit William Shatner.
Oh, that's not really good.
I didn't say it was. Ian, questions abound in the chat room about what happened with your finger.
I quite basically cutting some pineapple. I was making some dinner for the kids, and that involved a lot of fruit, and I was slicing the pineapple and managed to slice my finger as well.
Stitches required?
Don't know. Hid it under some wrapped it up, and haven't really looked at it since.
All right. Well, there you have it. Ian is not a chef, and we just found that out here first. If there's ever a cooking show that says Ian is a chef, please turn away.
Hey, I'm a very good chef. I'm very good in the kitchen, actually. It's just sometimes you nip your fingers. I was cutting it so fast and so fine. A slight accident. So, even Steve McQueen failed once.
So no guitar for you right now, or in the near future anyway.
I tried tuning the kids' ukulele today at the party, and that was rather hard to try and get a chord out of it. I can't bend.
Well, just put a glass over it and you can play slide.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I like your thoughts.
All right, well, let's meet our guest panelist on today's broadcast. Our guest panelist is the author and owner of Failed Muso, and that's over at failedmuso.com, and you can read all about his life and experience and continued experiences in the music industry over there. He is a freelance consultant with a number of software developers, artists, and engineers. And he's working on a very interesting project. I think you'll be able to see it when we go to video, and hopefully we'll get Rob to tell us a little bit more about it. Mr. Rob Puricelli is our guest panelist back again to join us. Rob, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you very much. And good evening, good afternoon, good morning to whoever is, wherever you are. Thanks for having me again. It's great to be here.
Well, it's good to have you. Now, we've had some problems and are continuing to have some problems with your Skype connection at the moment. The video, I got to tell you, looks horrible. And that's nothing that's your fault, I'm sure. I mean, because you're a good-looking guy in and of himself. But it's a connection issue. We know that, and we want to apologize to everybody ahead of time about that, and hopefully as we continue on, things will clear up. Hopefully your audio is going to stay all right with us right now.
I'm keeping everything that I can crossed. So from the visual side of things, I know it's not good for your flow and everything, but it's probably a good thing. I'm not really that good looking. So, yeah.
And now, don't sell yourself short, Rob. Don't sell yourself short. Now,
you got a fan, Rob, to be honest.
Now, for everybody who just heard my intro, the item that you've been working on is directly behind you. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what it is you've been working on and why I find, and I think Ian and Tom as well, find this piece of equipment so fascinating?
Well, anybody that goes to my blog and reads it will, if you look in the tag cloud, the biggest tag in the cloud is the word Fairlight. And I've been a massive Fairlight fan since I've first laid eyes on one in the early 80s. And what's sat behind me right now is a Fairlight CMI Series 3, which is the last iteration of that particular instrument, and this one used to belong to Ian Stanley from Tears for Fears, and I am pretty good friends with most of the old guys from the old Fairlight, and that's only because they found me on the internet through my blog. It's just that kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that I talk about things I love, and those people get in touch. And Peter Wilk, I hope I pronounced that right. I've never asked him. I'm too embarrassed. Peter Wilk is an Englishman who emigrated to Australia many, many decades ago and used to work at the original Fairlight company. They went bust in the late 80s. He bought all their old stock and has since become the world's leading Fairlight engineer, serviceman, restoration guy. And this machine that's behind me was sat in a storage cupboard in the village of Box, which is in Wiltshire, and is part of a kind of southwest musical collective that we have here in England that encompasses people like Tears for Fears, Peter Gabriel, XTC, and so many great names and artists and bands. And it was sat in Chris Hughes' studio in a storeroom, gathering dust, getting fussy, and a little bit damp, unfortunately. But we recovered it, and because it was in England, rather than ship it out to Australia, Peter said, "Can you help?" I said, "Yes," straight away. And so I went to collect this thing. It's now sat in my studio. We've given it an initial clean-up, and last week we had a delivery of a whole bunch of reconditioned internal components, and that's going to slowly be restored here. It doesn't belong to me, I'm afraid. It belongs to Peter, and I think he has the intention of selling it on. Hopefully, I'll be in a position to be first in the queue. But that's the project that we've got. It's going to take a few months to do, but it's very exciting, and it's kind of like a car enthusiast being given a rare Ferrari model to restore. You know, it's that special.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Now, before I continue asking you questions, of which I have a few, I want to try something. I want you to do me a favor and disable your video camera. Hopefully that'll clean up your audio. I'm going to keep sending you video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to interchange your video with a picture of you that I got off of our site. And hopefully your audio will clear up at that point.
Okay, well, the camera's now off, so hopefully that's helped.
It has a little bit. So now, with regards to the stuff that you do on Failed Muso, you do a lot of blogging about the projects you work on, of course. Are there some things that you don't have the opportunity to blog about? I mean, of course, some of the companies you work for, G4 Software, Peter Vogel Instruments, Akai, Alesis, and so forth, I would imagine that they probably have you working on projects that are top secret that you really can't talk about in some cases. Is that the case in some of these instances?
Absolutely, yeah. Pretty much the case in all of them. Every single company I've worked for, I have to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. They are sometimes they're 2 pages long, sometimes and with no disrespect to the great American people, but American companies are extremely careful, and therefore their NDAs are pages and pages long. So yes, everything has to be signed off, and everything has to be top secret under pain of death, or they'll take my firstborn or something like that. And there are lots of things that I can't talk about. Sometimes part of that, they actually get me to mention certain things on the blog. They kind of take advantage of the fact that I have an audience, and so they say, well, here's a picture, or here's a sound clip, or here's a little snippet of information you might want to sneak in somewhere. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship we have. But yeah, everything that I do is usually protected by one of these NDAs, unfortunately, because I love talking about this stuff, which is why I have a blog. But it's got the blog gets me the work now, and then I usually get first dibs about talking about it or promoting it, or that kind of thing. Yeah.
Understood. Now, you are originally a drummer, according to your bio that I have in front of me. It says originally a drummer obsessed with music technology. What was your first piece of music technology that you got involved with, if you remember?
I would say the first thing that I actually possessed, owned, and got to know and do stuff with was an application on the Commodore 64 called Electro Sound. And for those that remember, the Commodore 64 was a personal computer before PCs existed, and it stood above the rest in a number of ways. But the main thing was that it had this audio chip called the SID chip, and it was a 3-channel audio chip, and all the other computers of the day just had single channels, so you couldn't play chords or anything. But the Commodore had three channels, so you could actually play 3 tracks, and you can assemble chords or drum patterns. And this company, I forget the name of the company, they came up with this thing called Electro Sound, which gave you this 3-track sequencer. And that was the first thing, and that was this kind of revelation to me that I could sit down at a computer and my playing. I'm a drummer. Most of those jokes about drummers are true. We're not the most flexible of people, and I can play a few tunes on the piano, but I couldn't come up with a full composition. So I need a computer to help me do this. And this was giving me the chance to do that. I could program rhythm tracks, or I could program chords or bass lines and have them playing and mess around with it. And that was the first thing that I really got into. And all of that was kind of preempted and driven by that machine that's behind me, the Fairlight, because I saw the Fairlight and investigated what it could do. This machine could... you could compose and sound like a 50-piece orchestra on, and that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's what I wanted. That's how I was going to make my music, and it still is the way that I make my music today, albeit with much more modern software and hardware.
Now, with regards to technology, we know technology has come a long way. How would you compare, something like the Commodore 64, the Fairlight, and other vintage technology that's used or has been used in the creation of music to that which is available today? I'm not talking necessarily about the latest and greatest outboard synthesizers or synths in general, but technology in general. What do you see as the biggest difference in how things have progressed?
Well, I think the first thing is that the processing power of computer chips has grown so much that we can do pretty much anything that we like, and it will sound exactly the way it was meant to sound. So if you sample an orchestra nowadays, when you play it back, it's incredibly difficult to differentiate that from a real orchestra if the programming of the notes is good. Whereas back in the day with a Fairlight, if you sampled an orchestra then, it would sound like an orchestra, but it wasn't quite the same. It was different. It added something to it. So the biggest difference is that quality. But I think it's quite a popularly held belief that when you restrict a creative person or a creative process, that's when you get the best results, because people start to think outside the box and how they can do things differently. And that's when people got around things with the Fairlight. The Fairlight was brilliant at the time, but it was very quickly superseded when the Japanese companies and the American companies saw the potential and could do it cheaper with emulators from EMU and Akai with their samplers. And it wasn't a long period of time before the Fairlight was very much out of date. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm a big user of Propellerhead's Reason software. That's my go-to software for making music, because it just fits the way my brain works. And when you look at what the Fairlight did and what Reason did, there's very little to sort of differentiate in terms of their functionality. Reason has a sequencer. Fairlight had a sequencer. Reason has its own built-in sound sources, sampling or synthesis. Fairlight had its own built-in sound sources, and that was sampling and additive synthesis. And they all kind of do the same thing, but they just do it in a slicker, better quality way. But the Fairlight still today can do things that modern technology either can't do or won't do because it's just not economical. And the Fairlight really was somebody actually mentioned in the chat box a little bit. It's the Bugatti Veyron of musical instruments because it could do all these wonderful things. But technology is great, but sometimes the progress is not always what it should be or what it could be. So I think so the biggest difference is quality, but I think there's a functionality. Fairlight actually gets you working harder because it can't do certain things, and that makes you more creative.
Right. No, I totally understand exactly where you're coming from. Now, before we get to the music that we're going to review today, I'm going to ask that Rob do me a favor and let me call him back on Skype. Okay. I want to clear up your audio if I can do that. And while we do that, Rob, don't hang up on me yet. While we do that, we're going to go ahead and take a listen to song number 1 on today's MSI. So Rob is going to have double duty to do while I call him back and he listens to song number 1 on today's MSI. So we certainly hope you enjoyed, everyone. Here is song number 1 on today's broadcast. Enjoy.
Wipe the morning from my eyes, and as I take a look outside, I stare inside my coffee cup, contemplating giving up. Large clouds of dark clouds chase blue skies away. I'm just waiting for a sunny day. In my room and hope that maybe someday soon I'll venture just outside my door and find the world I lost before. These large clouds of dark clouds chase blue skies away. I'm just dreaming of a sunny day. Left of me and throw it at what ought to be when large clouds of dark clouds chase blue skies away. I'll just make my home a sunny day. A sunny day. Waiting for a sunny
There is song number 1 on today's MS. I've got Rob back on the line with us. Hopefully everything's okay there. Rob, say hello. Let me make sure your audio sounds all right.
Hello. How's this sound?
It sounds better than what it did, so that's good to hear. All right, let's go to Ian first, find out his thoughts on track number 1 today. Ian, what do you think about track number 1?
Yeah, I like this. Nice and bouncy start, bright, happy tune. Sunny day to suit the sort of heat wave that we're allegedly going through. So, yeah, loving it. Nice sparkly acoustic sound. I mean, from a mix point of view, it all sat very nicely. The vocal was sat there prominently. the string samples were obviously MIDI. Could have been better. I would like to have heard them better on this track, actually, because they were the sort of one thing that stood out as being sort of out of it. The rest of the production was sitting nicely, was mixed nicely, the tones were nice, everything was working. It's just them strings were biting me a little bit. But I mean, strong voice, lovely use of harmonies, nice arrangement on the track as well with the bridge into the chorus, and then that sort of big harmony chorus of Sunny Day, which I'm going to guess the track's called. And then there's elements of lots of things here, a lot of British bands like the Smiths, Beatles in there. There's a bit of Pink Floyd in there as well, some of the early Floyd stuff, I think. So, yeah, overall, I actually really do like this track. It's I did find the overall volume was a bit low. I had to turn everything up a little bit to get it to sort of sit nicely in my headphones. So, you know, just a normalising mastering job on that to bring the volumes up. And that to me is, yeah, a good track.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's go to Tom, find out his thoughts. Tom, what do you think?
Well, I agree mostly with Ian. Nice full track, capoed up on the 12 strings. Really like that nice crisp guitar sound. Came through really nice. The song flowed. Nice lyrics, good hook, memorable hook. Loved the harmonies. It just got a little weird, like with the strings. Yeah, they could have used a little TLC, maybe a little bit more bottom. And
I'm not sure what that is, Tom. You have an alarm going off.
Time to take the
I'm going
tablets.
to have to reboot.
Sounds like a UPS or something, Tom.
Yes, hold on.
Oh goodness. It's always one thing or another.
What's a UPS?
An uninterruptible power supply. It sounds like Tom has a battery going dead or something. While we're watching and waiting on Tom, let's find out what Rob thought. Rob, what do you think of track number 1?
Unless the other two songs are really, really good, I think I've already kind of found my winner. I love that. That was really, really good. I found myself, as you, I think me and Ian, that's certainly brothers from a different mother, agreeing on pretty much everything that Ian said. The production I thought was great. It was kind of had Bob Clearmountain feel to it. It really was pristine, I think is the word I noted down. I thought the vocals were great. Everything was very clear. I love a nice spangly acoustic guitar. I thought the whole feel of the jam track was great. The melody was great. The hook was great. And again, on the strings, I could hear them in the background. I wanted to hear them a little bit more, but I didn't want them to detract from everything else. And towards the end of the track, my ears were expecting the strings just to come up a little bit more, just that that final presence, that kind of last oomph of lushness at the end of the track. That would have been really nice. But other than that, this was superb, absolutely superb.
All right, I appreciate it, Rob. Thank you. And see, Tommy's back at his microphone now, so let's go back to Tom and find out the rest of his thoughts. Tom?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a lightning strike here yesterday that sort of, put the power system to a test, and we're still getting a little leftover lags and whatever. But whatever. The only complaint I had was like in that short little pre-chorus. It came in a little bit too loud in the beginning. The first one, it sort of hid the vocal. And then it balanced out a little bit, or I got used to it. But yeah, that was the only thing I could think that deterred me from really, really loving the track. I really do love the track, but just smooth out that level in the transitions from verse to chorus and a little bit more bottom or a better string sound, or a lower register, different voicing. And that's it.
All right, Tom, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The name of track number 1 on today's broadcast is called Waiting for a Sunny Day by Chadwick Station. We appreciate Chadwick Station sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. Now, before we play tracks number 2 and 3, I want to remind everybody that while you can see MSI live on MusicSceneInvestigation.com, you can always watch our recorded video on the site as well. And we host that video over on YouTube. And so you can find us on YouTube at MSI Weekly, and we'd appreciate you always checking us out there, because we do put other video up there besides just the broadcast shows. So you might be missing something if you're not checking us out on YouTube. So please do me a favor, go over to youtube.com/MSI Weekly, subscribe to the MSI channel there so you don't miss a thing. We've got some contest video that we're rolling out. It tells you about a contest we're working on right now that you might want to be a part of, and we'd hate for you to miss out on that. Am I right, Ian and Tom?
Oh, you're always right, Mr. Richard.
All I can say is we're on watch, people. We're on watch.
Just like the NSA, so you never know what's going to happen next. All right, song number 2 is up on the dock for now, though, so let's get to that. And everybody, take a listen to song number 2 right here on today's Music Scene Investigation. There is song number 2 on today's music scene investigation. We're going to start this round out with Mr. Tom Chianti. So, Tommy, what do you think of this particular track?
Well, I think it's a good demo. It's the beginnings of a good idea. There's a lot of good productions going on, but the kick drum is way too loud, too muffy. It's very cloudy and hashy at the same time. This could have been like maybe a board mix at the end of the night. It sounds like they, pumping it up and they just let it go loud, and it was a feel-good mix rather than a single mix. There was no vocal focus for me. I could hear the vocals, but I couldn't really quite understand that they just didn't have the clarity or presence, so I couldn't really focus on them. They could be heard, and the style of singing that he was using needs to be really enunciated, and he just sort of rolled over consonants and whatnot instead of hitting the accents. But a good start, definitely worth taking it back to the board and giving it another shot. Maybe cut back on some of the production, definitely lower that kick drum. Not so pumpy, and you got something.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Tom, and we'll go over to Mr. Rob Puricelli right now and find out his thoughts. Rob, your take on track number 2.
I think there's, as Tom said, there's the makings of a song there, and there's definitely something there that can be worked on. From a technical perspective, I thought vocals could have provided more clarity and prominence within the mix. The whole track had a slightly confused feel to it, but then that sometimes isn't always a bad thing. I was kind of put in mind of Prince. I'm a massive Prince fan, and I like the fact he does things that are just different from everybody else, and that can be a good thing. It was towards the last third of the song. I don't remember noticing it before. That might just be my ears, but there was this very high-pitched vocal, which almost sounded like it was kind of screamed, or somebody was, with all due respect to the late great Michael Jackson, was trying to do a Michael Jackson kind of, and I won't try and do it, but that kind of high-pitched vocal that Michael used to do as a kind of a backing effect. I think that could have been done better, maybe with a powerful female backing voice, and it works. But again, as Tom said, I kind of have that demo feel. So maybe that's something that can be worked on. Somebody mentioned in the chat room, and it kind of made me go, oh, yeah, actually, there's a very little bass in there. And again, that kind of puts me in mind of Prince, because Prince had a massive #1 single around the world that featured absolutely no bass in it whatsoever. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I think I didn't notice it because, again, as Tom has mentioned, that kick drum was quite overwhelming. So I wasn't quite sure whether that was the bass line, or a tune kick. But it's got something there. It's certainly something I would work on, but there does need to be a bit of work.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. And over to Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much in line with the guys, really. There's some really nice bits and pieces going on here. There is a good track here. And there's even some good production ideas, like some of the question answer vocals and the effects used. But it's just badly executed, more from a mix point of view than anything. The mix really, I found, was very bright as a whole thing. The snare I found was very snappy, and the hi-hats were really present, and everything in the sort of top end range was shiny and too bright, especially for a rap song like this, which, well, not a rap song, but this sort of hip hop style, which I feel needs to be a bit darker, darker reverbs and less happiness in the mix. The problem with the vocal, from my point of view, was I think, the guy could do better takes. He's got a voice, he's got some things going on there, but there was timing issues. He wasn't hitting the groove solidly. And for this sort of music where you're relying on that backbeat to sort of really drive the groove, you've got to be locking into it a bit more, a bit better. I mean, there was some nice use of harmonies and bits and pieces like that, which was good. And to me, the real mix issue with the vocal was too much reverb and not enough compression. That, you know, I find when doing sort of this sort of style of music, the vocals which are harder need a bit more compression to pull them into line a bit more, and they need to be drier to sort of, and pumped up in that mix. I think the volume level was fine here. It's just they were awash with lack of compression and awash with reverb, and that would tighten things up and brought that back into that mix. From an instrumental point of view, again, some of the sounds used were very sort of out-of-the-box MIDI stuff, and I did find in some of the sort of chorusy parts, it got a bit manic. There was a lot going on, and it was going on quite fast as well, and it got a little bit harsh to listen to. Then it backed off into the chorus, into the verses, and, you know, it sort of eased again, but some of it was a bit too manic in places. Really is a good song here, from a songwriting aspect. Really are some nice production ideas, but you need to tighten that vocal up and get that mix sorted out. It needs a lot of work.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The name of that particular track is called When the Lights Go Out, and that was submitted by Gary Hull Entertainment, and we appreciate their submitting that to Music Scene Investigation as well. And we're going to take a listen to track number 3 right now, gentlemen. So headgear on, I guess, and let's go ahead and listen to track number 3 on today's MSI. have song number 3 on today's MSI, and we're going to start things out with Mr. Rob Puricelli right now. So, Rob, what are your thinkings on track number 3?
Oh, I do love it when somebody tickles the ivories very well, and that was some well-tickled ivories, as we say here in England. I like it. It's different from what I've heard before. I think it would work absolutely brilliantly as a piece of soundtrack music on a film or a TV production of some description. That's the kind of thing that a TV producer will pick out of a stock library very easily. That it was really well done. The piano playing itself was brilliant. Very, very well done. The recording and the production of that piece, I mean, there's not a huge amount to do there. There's just one instrument, but the dynamics were good. The tonal range was good. Really, really nice. And everything was going so well. There was a great theme in there that was being kind of eked out slowly but surely, and then it all kind of went wrong when the key change came in. And I am a big disliker of key changes when they are not necessary, because to me, if you have to put a key change in, it's because your piece is lacking interest. It's kind of a nice, handy little trick to have. Oh, let's change the key. You hear it in so many songs, and it's just not necessary. You don't need to do it unless it's part of the theme, unless it's something that has been building and has been worked in. It was just all of a sudden, boom, key change. Why? Did you get bored? I mean, I thought the theme was working really well, and I thought we were going to get to some nice conclusion, and then they dropped the theme, the key change, and it just. That was the only thing that spoiled it. Everything else about it, technically very good. The recording was very good. The performance was excellent. The composition itself was very, very good. Lose the key change, or if you want to keep some kind of key change, build to it. Don't just drop it in there out of nowhere. But other than that, very, very good. Well done.
All right. I appreciate that, Rob. Thank you very much. And over to Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, what do you think about track number 3?
I felt like at the end I should have stood up and applauded.
There's still time.
Go on, Ian.
I dropped my book on the floor. What Rob said, really. I mean, I didn't mind the key change too much, to be honest. I mean, it's one of those situations with a piece like this that they might then go into another piece from there that's then in that key as a standalone piece. Kind of see your point, but, it could work in a sort of suite of pieces or something like that. I mean, I'm gonna take a wild one and think that's actually a live piano as well, because you could hear the stomps and some fingers and bits and pieces on the keys. When the pedal was going down, you could hear that just as a little sort of bassy bump in the bottom end of the track. And I like all that, and all the sort of naturalisms that come in when doing this sort of stuff. Lovely tone to that piano. I mean, it's very difficult to capture a tone like that with digital pianos. I mean, there are some great samples out there now, but I don't know, that for me just sounded real. And that's a really, really, it's something you don't see very often on the show. Lovely chord progressions. Again, I think Tom mentioned Wind Beneath My Wings. I thought that to start with. Then I thought Hill Street Blues or something like that as a sort of visual theme. Or some American sitcom, as Rob was saying. Libraries love this sort of stuff. I mean, you could also turn this into that Bette Midler power ballad and put a very strong female voice over the top of that with a strong, cliched, meaningful love song. And this would work great. Key change and all, to be honest. Liked the movements and the transitions in it, and the dynamic that was just built in on the piano alone. And again, we see songs on MSI that have no dynamic with vast instruments, and this track in one piano managed to capture that dynamic nicely. So, I liked it a lot.
All right. Thank you, Ian. And over to Mr. Tom Chianti. Tom, when you got up a moment ago, I thought you were going to come back with a pipe. Mr. Sophistication and all that. All right, Tom, what do you think of track 3?
I agree with everybody. Brilliantly played, well thought out, interesting changes. Definitely, I was longing to hear a really strong female vocal over it. But as it is, like Rob said, great library piece for a tail end of a movie or a library scene or something such like that. And I have to agree with him about the modulation. Usually, you build to it and you modulate up, not down. And he went down in the key, and that to me just brought the whole uplifting feel of the thing down. Or he went sideways with the key, whatever. But I didn't like the modulation, and I thought it was thrown in as an afterthought, like, geez, I don't have enough music. Let's just modulate and end it there. Other than that, though, I mean, it's brilliantly played. The thing I liked about the piano, whether it's real or sampled, is that it's not that bright, hard piano. It's the soft, warm piano that really makes it sound live. Because a lot of people go for the pop piano sound and crank the EQs, even on a real piano. This was nice and warm and full and clear. So it was recorded well, played well. I was just left a little wanting, either for a vocal or something a little bit more melodic at the end, to build towards a more melodic end instead of that modulation.
All right, Tom, I appreciate that, and thank you very much. The name of that particular track is called You Take Me to the Top by JoloGrand. JoloGrand, we appreciate your sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. Now, we want everyone to go over to the witness page, file your witness statement. Let us know what you think as we find out what our panelists thinks with regards to their selection of the week. Ian, you were saying?
I just wanted to say that I think JoloGrand's been on the show before.
Yes.
And if I remember rightly, the piano piece had a similar feel, which is why I was talking about a suite of pieces.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. All right, now, gentlemen, you must make a selection for Song of the Week, as I just mentioned. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you discuss it amongst yourselves and make that decision.
Let's see. I'm in decision-making mode.
What, if you just collapsed on your desk?
It certainly looks like it.
I think we've got three very good tracks there. Three very good tracks.
I'm going to go with number one.
All right. Tommy goes with Chadwick Station's Waiting for a Sunny Day.
Rob?
Yeah, I think I said after I'd heard track one that the other two tracks would have to be really, really good to change my mind from that already being my favourite. Track three came close, but just kind of lost me at the end. Track two, I love the inventiveness, I love the quirkiness, I love the fact that there's definitely something there that can be worked on, but I think as a complete, finished, polished production that could go out today and do very, very well, it's got to be track number one.
All right. So that's two selections for Chadwick Station and left up to Ian.
Well, who am I to rock the boat, as Tom would say? I'm going to go with the boys on track number one. I think more from the point, it's the track I want to hear again this week. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing it again, and I think that's a good thing because it sort of stuck with me all through the show, and the other pieces were good. Three, again, an exceptional piece, but not quite finished. It's the number one.
All right, so there you have it. Waiting for a Sunny Day by Chadwick Station is going to be our song of the week on today's Music Scene Investigation. I want to take the opportunity to thank our panelists. Rob, especially thanks to you, and sorry about the issues. Skype has never been a willing accomplice in any way, shape, or form with us, but today especially so.
I apologise if any of the technical difficulties have been emanating from this end. I have similar problems, or I'd say personally, I have experience on the Sonic State podcast that I participate in, and doesn't matter where people are coming from. Skype really is not the easiest of bedfellows. So I'm blaming Skype myself.
I agree.
Wouldn't take Skype to bed.
Thank you ever so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor again. I loved every second of it. Thank you.
Well, we absolutely enjoy having you with us, and certainly hope that you join us again very, very soon.
I hope so. Please, anytime.
And next time you can let us know about your Kickstarter fund
Yes.
to buy the Fairlight that you're going to do.
I thought that was a cracking idea. I've actually been thinking about that a lot whilst we've been on air. So that's something I shall gestate.
I think it's an excellent idea, by the way.
Well, you never know. You've heard it here first. So if anybody wants to buy an album made purely on a Fairlight in the year 2013, and you'd pay good money for it, visit my blog.
There you go.
There you go.
FailedMuso.com is where you want to go for that. Again, Rob, thank you so much for being with us. Ian, Tom, and everyone out in the chat room, thank you for joining us as well. Again, you can join us live every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT, and we do it live on MusicSceneInvestigation.com. Again, go to our YouTube channel as MSI Weekly over at YouTube and subscribe. You don't want to miss anything we put out. And like I said earlier, we do put out videos unbeknownst to anyone at all, unless you're subscribed. So make sure you do that. Right now, however, we are going to let you know that next week, our guest panelist is a surprise. We've got a new guest panelist coming in. I've got to finalize things on Tuesday, but it's going to be very, very interesting on that, and I think that you will enjoy having her join us. And for now, however... Sorry.
It's
Yes, sir, Ian.
It's a her.
It is.
Damn boy.
It
just means... It just means that basically it's going to be a technical problem show.
No, it won't be at all. And like I said,
Rich falls to pieces with the ladies on the show. He does. He just gets himself all in a kerfuffle.
No, we'll be fine. I promise you that. Looking forward to you joining us next week right here at MusicSceneInvestigation.com/live. Right now we're going to play out with track number 1, Chadwick Station, Waiting for a Sunny Day, as our song of the week. Here you go, everyone. Enjoy. Bye. Thanks for being with us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wipe the morning from my eyes, and as I take a look outside, I stare inside my coffee cup, contemplating giving up. Large shrouds of dark clouds chase blue skies away. I'm just waiting for a sunny day. In my room and hope that maybe someday soon I'll venture just outside my door and find the world I lost before. These large clouds of dark clouds chase blue skies away. I'm just dreaming of a sunny day. gather what is left of me and throw it at what all